Welcome back to the channel, hockey fans. Mike here with Sasquatch NHL for tonight's live stream. Kraken versus Canadiens live rapid reaction coming at you here. Kraken on a 4-game losing streak coming into the night, and it doesn't get better. They're ending the road trip with some disappointment, going against another storied franchise, the Montreal Canadiens, a team that's facing their own struggles lately. And the Canadiens performed surgery on the Kraken early tonight, picking apart every last tentacle, it felt like. Early in the game, Kraken repelled their rally late. They got close but didn't come through, and the Canadiens repelled that rally. So a bad result for a Seattle team that has now lost 5 games in a row, and we're going to talk about it here on the live stream. So thanks you guys for tuning in and watching. Be sure to chime in the chat and the live stream and on the comments afterwards if you're watching in the replay. But it is great to have you. We're going to talk about another loss, unfortunately, here on the channel and what we saw between the Kraken and Canadiens tonight. So let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat as well. I'd love to hear from you guys as we go. But thanks for being here, and hit that like button for me on the video. It helps the channel out, helps the metrics here on YouTube. I do appreciate it. But yeah, another poor result, 4-2. I thought the Kraken didn't get their legs moving. They were, causing. They had their issues with turnovers, is what I'm trying to say there in the first period, and they felt like they didn't really get things going until, probably about halfway through the second period. So yeah, not a good one. But yeah, let's get through it. This episode tonight, we're going to talk about how things went between the Kraken and Canadiens, tell the story of the game just a little bit, set things up coming into the evening, look at the Kraken roster, some of the things going on there. We'll talk about the stars of the game, the stats, break things down, and of course, live chat with you guys throughout tonight's episode. So yeah, not the result that we wanted, and we've been here too many times, it feels like, talking about the same types of things. Costly turnovers, not starting on time here. It's kind of been this funk that they've been in. The power play came through at a key moment tonight, so that is good. I didn't really like what I saw from the penalty kill early. I did like the goaltending from Grubauer tonight, and we can talk about all that stuff throughout the stream. But let's get into the game day setup just a little bit here. Let me go post my tweet over there. That way people know the live stream's going. But yeah, Canadiens coming in. Let's look at the setup just a little bit for tonight's stream. As I mentioned, they were struggling coming into this game. 6th place in the Atlantic Division. 3-6-1 in their last 10s coming into the evening. You've got Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield leading the way for them so far. Suzuki had 20 points, Caulfield 19 points at the beginning of this game, both with 7 goals this season. So great work from those two for this Canadiens team that's trying to build, something into the future as well. But as a team, they're in the bottom third of the league in most of the major statistical categories. So they're also not in a very easy division. You've got the Boston Bruins, the Tampa Bay Lightning, on and on. So Florida Panthers, by the way, just they're not looking like a good team, especially in that tough Atlantic Division. So the Kraken now having one of their worst stretches since the inaugural season. Unfortunately, it's kind of back to the past instead of back to the future. They got shut out on Saturday in Ottawa, where one of the league's worst goaltenders kind of turned into Patrick Waugh for the evening. So 3-4-3 in the last 10 games for the Kraken, so they drop one again. So they're going to be 3-5-3 in their last 10 and a 5-game losing streak, unfortunately. So still dealing with injuries. Things aren't going to get easier, but they do get to come home now. So I don't know, maybe they can figure something out. And they're going to have to quick, because they're starting to fall behind, losing pace in the division and in the conference. And it's just really hard to dig out of a hole when you get this far back. You want to be within striking distance, couple games really, of the wild card. But they're struggling right now, and I don't feel like this roster is in tune with its, the top 6. It's going to have to come through at some point. I just feel like we're not scoring enough. And on the nights when we do, we're not getting very good goaltending and defense. But we've got to put those things together at some point. We have to score enough goals, and we have to play defense, and we have to get good goaltending, and we have to be able to break through on the power play, and special teams have to come up at key times, and just none of those things have all aligned yet this season. So we'll see what happens, but they've got to figure it out fast, or we might be having a pretty rough season in general. So let's look at the roster. That's the setup. Thanks again, guys, for being here on the stream. If you just logged in and you're checking things out, hit that like button for me if you're enjoying the video tonight. But the Kraken still waiting for Burakovsky to come back. Sounds like he's getting closer. Not quite there yet. So we'll see. Maybe during the homestand, we're going to get our glimpse of Burakovsky. I know that he's close, but just not quite there. Brandon Tanev back now, so that is good news. Probably not 100%, but he's a warrior, and he's good to go. He energizes this team. I thought he played a pretty good direct game tonight. Nothing stood out to me negatively that he did, so it's always great to have Turbo in the lineup. Brian Logginen saying sadness. Yes, and this is kind of the theme this year. A lot of sadness. I'm trying to work through this tonight, Brian. Not a very busy live chat. I didn't figure it would be. People are pretty down about this team right now. Not a lot to be excited about coming home back to Climate Pledge Arena. So it's kind of a bummer. But maybe let me know your thoughts, Brian, while you're here. And share, what do you think we can do to improve this team? I feel like I've got some thoughts. People keep saying, Spronger, Geeks, and losing those guys, and Donato as well, feels like it's kind of maybe caused this, but I kind of have some thoughts with that. I really feel like, and I'll just share them now. I was going to kind of wait till the recap for this, but when you lose a guy like Donato, when you lose a guy like Sprong, Susie maybe to some extent as well, these types of guys, yes, they can be difference makers, and they were difference makers. But I really don't feel like these guys aren't going to put your roster over the top. And when it really comes down to it, you've got to be able to rely on your top six and your top pairings on defense to get you through these games and be relied upon night in and night out. And, maybe the reality is that there's bigger problems up top in this roster than we realize. So that's kind of my takeaway from it. Yes, we do miss those guys, and we knew there was going to be some regression scoring-wise in the roster this year, but I just feel like there's bigger problems to worry about if you think that a guy like Donato or Morgan Geekie or Daniel Sprong are going to make this team tip over the top. That just feels like, it's easy to point that out, but I don't think that is the answer. I don't think they're executing. And I haven't really liked the adjustments that they've been trying to make. I feel like they're trying to do the same things, and it's still just not working. So maybe we should try something a little bit different. I don't know. So that's kind of my thoughts. We also lose Jaden Schwartz now to IR. That's not new news, but the team did kind of clarify the other day it's going to be a longer-term thing, 6 to 8 weeks. That's an upper body injury. So that's unfortunate because Schwartzy was scoring a lot of goals for us so far this year, but you're just going to have to deal with it. You got to keep moving forward. Next man up. So the call-ups now from Coachella Valley going to get some opportunities. Maybe we get another glimpse at Shane Wright here someday soon. We'll see. But you've got Max McCormick, the latest call-up, and he got into the roster tonight. Studenic sat down. So Megna Studenic, hopefully I always screw that name up, but they're the scratches tonight. And you see Schwartzy there and Burakovsky still on the shelf. So McCormick, got in there. I don't think he got a ton of ice time on the fourth line tonight. I'll have to go look at that. But those are kind of the situational setups for the roster here as we get into this stream. But let's hear from you guys in the chat and in the comments. If you're watching in the replay, I do appreciate you guys being here. Let's get into the game breakdown right now. All right, so tonight you had Grubauer going for Seattle, Montembeault for the Canadiens, and, you got to be ready to go. Last game of the trip, I know the Kraken are tired, but they did have the first couple of shots. The Canadiens, though, churning. Kraken fumble the puck behind their net. Just, not ready to go. Alexiak this time with the costly turnover. Evans, a good stick there, slides it to Anderson. And he finds Sean Monahan easily puts one into a wide open net. Another puck just poorly played behind your own net. Your own zone results in a turnover that directly leads to a goal. So all too familiar result that we've seen so far this season. So not great in the first. Kraken do have a power play. They don't break through. Grubauer really kept the guys, I thought, in the game early in this one after some sloppy play with the puck, extremely dangerous turnovers. It likely would have been a much larger deficit without Grubauer standing tall in the first period. The shots were 14-10 coming out with Seattle in favor there, but obviously the quality chances went to the Montreal Canadiens. Face-offs, 47%, 53% in favor of Montreal, so not too great in the dot in the first period. But it was really the turnovers. Those were the story early and kind of resulted in, the rest of the game, the Kraken chasing throughout the evening. So we go to the second period now, and things get worse to start the second. Kraken just cannot find that spark. Tanner Pearson gets the Canadiens' second goal of the game. It's just a simple play. Puck goes low to high. Strudel to Dvorak. Back and forth a little bit there, and Dvorak just kind of flips a shot to the net. And, you got traffic in front. You get a rebound from Grubauer. Pops right there to Pearson on his stick, and he's right where he needs to be. They score, make it 2-0. A pretty simple play. High shot, kind of flipped in there, traffic, rebound, score. Moments later, Larson basically tackles Juraj Slafkovsky, and he kind of slipped between the defense there on a scoring chance. So Larson kind of had to do something, but Kraken now shorthanded. Canadiens get their first power play of the game. Montreal now moving the puck really well on this power play, and they break through again. They get set up nicely. Puck is moved to the high slot there down low. Really good job of opening up the lanes. Cole Caulfield to Suzuki to Monahan, and Monahan buries one again. That's his second goal of the game, and it's a 3-goal lead for Montreal at this point. And Emerald City Hockey pointed this out. I was noticing it as well, but they pointed out the passive nature of the penalty kill, the way it was set up there. Just that passive box, Montreal picked it apart like surgeons. And really, unless I'm mistaken, I thought the whole point of playing a passive box was to kind of close the lanes, but unfortunately on this one, it just felt like it opened them up even more. So that's how it went. I'd like to see the Kraken play a little more aggressive on the penalty kill, but circumstantially, maybe that's not the part of the game where you want to be too aggressive. I don't know, but it just didn't look like a very good penalty kill to me there. So we move forward. Luckily, the Kraken start to wake up a little bit, showing some signs of life. About 6 minutes left now in the second period, churning around, and the Canadiens just can't keep up with Jared McCann. He ends up with the puck middle of the slot, glides into the face-off circle, and he rips a wrister. So the Kraken are on the board now. It's 3-1. The Montreal lead is cut to 2. About a minute left. Minute 25 left in the second period, and Grubauer has another big save. No rebound there, keeping the guys alive as you go to the third trailing. And pretty exciting in the third period, but we don't end up climbing the mountain. We started too late tonight. That's how it went. Kraken, third period. I thought they had some pretty good jump. They were being a little more directive, feeding pucks to the net, and, hoping it's not too little too late type of deal, but never easy when you're chasing a 2-goal lead in the third. But their hard work pays off. They get a penalty right off the faceoff in Montreal's zone. Matheson takes down Winberg, so a big power play at a key moment. How many times have I said that this season already? But this time they come through. Vince Dunn, another Dundertaker blast from the top of the slot. High heat, a huge power play goal to give the Kraken a chance here. They're trailing by 1 now. It's 3-2 in favor of Montreal. We go under 12. Grew a big save. Things getting a little bit more intense. Montreal trying to repel Seattle's push. Late stages now. Grubauer, a few nice sequences here, saving everything that Montreal's feeding to the net. And then we wind down to the final stretch. Turbo, a wraparound. He thought he scored. Raised his arms, but it didn't go in. It slid through the crease. And then you go 2:39 left. A puck. Ty says, I made it. Yikes. Sounds like a dud. Yeah, it was a dud to start for sure. But yeah, we go 2:39 left. A puck bounces off the end boards right to Eberle. He's got a wide open chance here. Montembeault with some really big saves late there. And 1:30 left. We pull Grubauer. Some good pressure for the Kraken late, but unfortunately, Montreal grabs the puck. They send it the length of the ice into the empty net. I've said that a few times, unfortunately, this year. And it's a 4-2 victory for the Canadiens. Too late of a start by the Kraken tonight. Brian says, on a brighter note, Mike's show is awesome. Well, thanks, Brian. I've put a lot of work into this thing. I've got the the flow down and the templates. Everything's pretty dialed at this point. So now it's just, I need to work maybe on my presentation skills a little bit, maybe less stuttering at times, but we'll get there. I have a lot of fun with it, and I've got a great setup. I'm very appreciative to be able to do this and bring these shows to you guys. And it's great to chat with you guys after the game, especially after a loss like tonight. But keys for me, just started too late, and then you can't come up with anything until halfway through the game, it felt like, in the goal department. It took a game and a half to score a goal in the last 2 games of this road trip. Pretty unfortunate. Noah plays games too, says, hey, what's up, Noah? Great to have you here on the stream tonight. Thanks for dropping in. Just got through the Kraken breakdown here, the recap of the game. I don't know if you watched tonight, Noah, but let me know your thoughts. Who are your key players tonight that you enjoyed watching from the Kraken, even though they didn't pull out a victory? Montreal, these aren't good teams that the Kraken are losing to. Ottawa and Montreal are not good teams. These are teams that are very beatable, and you don't start on time, and you end up chasing again, and it's pretty unfortunate. Carol's Dark Sarcasm says, is it time for a player shakeup? Great question. We've asked this a few times now coming into the season. The first few weeks, I was being patient. I figured were going to be, chomping at the bit a little bit to maybe change things if things didn't start well. So I said, hold on, let's just kind of be patient and see. But right now at this point, I feel like there's something that probably needs to happen. Maybe a trade is going to come a little sooner than Ron Francis would have liked to, but it depends. What are their goals this season? Their goals stated in the offseason were that they want to make the playoffs again. Right now, they're headed the wrong direction. They're not going to make the playoffs if they continue to play like this at even 500 for the rest of the season. They're going to have to overachieve at this point to kind of claw back in the standings. They're going to have to score more goals. And Carol's Dark Sarcasm, I was talking about this a little bit. I know that you're also one of the friends here that talks about, missing Geeky, missing Donato, missing Spronger. And my point kind of coming into this stream is that, yes, we do miss those guys. They are difference makers. They were difference makers. But I don't feel like that's the type of player that's going to make or break a team. And if it is, then you really have more roster issues up top than we should be talking about. Really, your top 6 has been absent at times, and your top 2 pairings on defense have made some really costly turnovers. They don't have a lot of giveaways. The Kraken are actually pretty good in that department, but when they do give it away, when they turn it over, it always seems to end up in the back of their net. Reminds me a lot of the inaugural season, and this roster is much better than that. So I don't know what's going to change, but I feel like something does need to change. My order of operations for when the panic button needs to be hit was, first of all, you're going to see some call-ups. Injuries are happening, so that's the other factor here that we have to consider. But you'd see some call-ups. We've seen that. You've seen some line shuffling. That's the other thing I predicted. The thing after that is maybe a trade is going to happen, probably sooner than Francis would want to, but I feel like something has to happen, especially if you come home now and you throw a few L's out on home ice, then things are really going to start to heat up. I don't think firing Coach Hackstall is really on the table just because he signed that extension, but who knows? Ron Francis holds those cards pretty close, so I could be surprised. I wouldn't be too surprised if that's what ends up happening. I just don't think that is what is going to happen. Okay, but did we trade up? So good point here. I don't know if we did. I think we did in the faceoff department with Belmar, but I don't feel like we did in the goal scoring department. But we did know that we were going to regress offensively, right? We just figured you're going to fall back to the mean. We overachieved, I think, with our expected goals numbers last year. Striatic likes to point this out a lot. I don't think he's on the stream tonight, but yeah, our scoring efficiency, shot percentages and expected goals metrics last year were a little bit higher probably than they should be. So, okay, yeah, we're going to have a little bit of offensive regression, and then you lose a few of those guys that were, contributors goal-wise. But again, I just don't feel like those 3 names that I've listed now a few times are the types of guys that are going to make or break a roster. And if they are, which they could be. I'll admit, maybe they are to some people, but if they are, then you've got bigger roster problems across the board. That's my point. And I think that we need to be able to rely a little bit more on the top six throughout each game, night in, night out, and not have these 2 steps forward, 4 steps backward, 5 steps backward now in a row. So that's just not acceptable, and they're going to have to fix it, or they're going to miss the playoffs. That's the stark reality at this point. We can't say it's early in the season anymore because we're kind of getting into December now, so it's not really that early in the season. We're about 25-ish games in, so a quarter of the way. But yeah, to me, we should be trending up at this point, solidifying, and I feel like we're going backwards and trending down, and it's not a good time to do it. So those are my thoughts. Love to hear from you guys in response to that. I don't have a poll tonight, unfortunately, but that's okay. Sometimes, that can just be another distraction. So let's look at the game stats for the evening as we go towards the back end of this stream. I feel like maybe my effort level was consistent for the full 60, maybe not quite. I don't think I'm going to do a 60-minute stream, but probably get to about 30 minutes. But hey, I showed up on time for my stream. So can the Kraken please show up on time in the next game? Let's see that happen. Game stats. 34 shots on goal. And I think you'll see here in the next graphic that they did actually lead shots-wise coming out of the first. So again, a little deceiving. The number of shots, maybe not telling the whole story tonight. Just didn't start on time. Face-off percentages, 53%, 47%. So that stayed pretty consistent through the whole evening. Not too bad, I guess. Power play, we were 1 for 2. So that's better. And I did like the penalty that they drew, that they ended up scoring on. There's some hard work there to make that happen. Canadiens break through on their only power play. That was where they sliced and diced up the Kraken's passive PK there. And yeah, talking about adjustments, I don't know. Are they a passive PK team? Because sometimes I see them aggressive, but that definitely was not aggressive. And it seems like they trend more to a passive penalty kill, which I don't really love. I understand why you do it, but I like aggressive play. I want to see him go after it. Can leave you exposed a little bit when you do that, but at least it's entertaining. Okay, so yeah, penalties, there wasn't a whole lot of them. 3 total penalties tonight. I didn't think the game was very physical until kind of late stages when that intensity started to pick up a little bit. Canadiens blocked 18 shots, so that's a pretty key metric there for them because the Kraken, they could have broke through on any number of those. Montembeault made those 2 saves late. I don't know if he really saved the one that Tanev was trying to get the wraparound in there, but it hit somebody in there, and he was at least coming across to his post there. So, but that save on Eberle, the one that bounced off the inboards, that was huge. And Grubauer, pretty good, I thought, for the Kraken all night. Kept him in the game. Shots by period. Again, I think this is a little bit deceiving tonight because the Kraken's first period was pretty terrible. They did have 13 shots, but the Canadiens, very consistent. 10, 10, 10, 30 shots, 34 shots. And the Kraken, they have that late rally, that push, but too big of a hole to climb out of. Let's look at the 3 stars. If you guys are watching over in the chat there and you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps out the channel, helps out the live stream. The algorithm likes it when you like things. So if you enjoy the content here, hit the like button. I appreciate it. If not, that's fine. You don't have to watch. 3 stars. Sean Monahan, a great night. 2 goals from him. Suzuki, another assist. So I think that gives Suzuki 21 points on the season now. Anderson, I thought, was really good too. 1 goal, 1 assist. So great picks there for the Canadiens as they take all 3 stars of the evening and they take the win, put it in the bank. Kraken come home feeling a little deflated. Let's look at the standings here, you guys. 8, 12, and 6. And you can see that gap continuing to grow. The top 3 there, Vegas with 36 points, Vancouver with 33 points, Los Angeles at 31. Flames just in front of the Kraken, but yeah, 8, 12, and 6 now is Seattle, and they don't have games in hand. They've played probably, I don't know if they've played the most games in the league, but definitely up there towards the top. Most teams have played right around 23, 24 games or so at this point. 25 for both the two teams at the top of the division there. But yeah, Los Angeles, they're looking good. I like what I see from Los Angeles, and they've got 4 games in hand there on both the Canucks and the Knights. Ty says, imagine having the talent of the Oilers. Yeah. What is going on? They played a little better. I think they have a winning record since Knobloch took over, but still. And this is exactly why I'm saying it's getting to that point where it might be too late to dig out of a hole. Unless you go on a crazy streak of games, which the Kraken could do. But just to keep pace, you're in a bad spot right now. So, not saying hit the eject button on the season just yet, but it's not going to be easy, especially the way they're playing. They haven't inspired confidence in me a whole lot on this road trip. And last year, they were a great road team. So, yeah. Ty, I also wanted to let you know, this is my first live stream on my brand new machine. And I was a little paranoid to start the whole thing off here, but hopefully it came through and you guys could hear everything and you could see everything. So that can be quite a chore sometimes to move everything from one computer to a new computer, especially when you've got a lot of stuff like I do. So plugins and different programs, but got it done. And here we are on the new machine. So great things coming in the future here on the channel. I've got some ideas that I haven't, been able to capture just yet, but they're going to happen. So stay tuned, you guys. Let's look ahead at the Kraken schedule. They're going to come back home to Climate Pledge Arena, New Jersey Devils, this Thursday. So a few days off to lick their wounds and maybe get a little healthier, figure things out, and get ready for that home game against the Devils on Thursday. 7:30 p.m. start time for this, for that one. And then you've got the Lightning, the Wild, the Panthers, and the Blackhawks. Those are all at home. So it's going to be quite a few games at home in December. And man, the Kraken could really benefit from a solid homestand. But let's see what happens. Thanks, you guys, for being here. Ty says, looks and sounds dialed. That's good to hear. I'm happy about that, and I'm really loving this new computer. It's going to make editing and all sorts of things much easier here at Sasquatch NHL. So thanks, Ty, for being here. Thanks, Carol's Dark Sarcasm, Noah, and Brian for joining the stream and chiming in tonight. That's going to be it. If you don't subscribe, please do, but I think most of you do because you chatted in the live chat, and that usually means that you're a sub. So thanks for contributing and helping and all the things that you do supporting Sasquatch NHL, and I love interacting with you guys. Keep up with me over on X, and also check out the podcast if you don't got new episodes coming out over there as well. That is it for tonight's episode, you guys. Let's see, can we get home and win some games? I sure hope so, because it's not looking good right now, but that's going to do it for tonight's show. Keep up with me over at x.com. Have a great night, you guys, and we'll catch you again on another stream real soon right here at Sasquatch NHL. See ya.